Yo, what's up, YouTube? Coming back at you once again. That little dog, man, she's looking cute as hell, dog. I mean, for real. Yeah. But we just in the work truck, sitting on our day off here in PA. Gonna deliver a load tomorrow. Just trying to stay away from the snowstorms and stuff like that. We've been racing ahead of it, but for my fishing freaks out there, this one's another one for you. All right, and if that's all the stuff you want to see, and you keep subscribed to me, and you keep just waiting for those videos, I appreciate you, because like I said, your subscription box is important, and I'm posting stuff that's for right now that's not fishing related, and I understand, but the time is coming for fishing. But it's all about being strategic, waiting for the right time to come back. Okay, and I made another video about that. But I want to talk about right now, like, what happened, because I've mentioned it before, but we're going to do it again because somebody asked. Maybe somebody wants to know what happened to me in fishing, okay, and fishing content. What happened to my life and with fishing? And this goes back, this is, it's almost December. It's December now, 2025. Let's rewind the tape back to like 2017 or something like that. It was like let's go back to 2015. I'm fishing, you're seeing the content, but some things start happening in my personal life, that some upheaval, a little bit of upheaval. And it's just certain things you can't explain. There's some things in life, they just happen. And started going through that. Even though y'all are seeing the videos, there's stuff going on in my personal life. Like in that 2014, 15, 16 era. And it really starts falling apart in that 2016, 2017 era. That's when things, family, personal, financial, fishing, everything fell apart. When I say everything fell apart, part of it was things that happened to me, things that people did to me, but there's also decisions that I made and positions that I put myself into that's what happened, and everything fell apart. At one point, I was homeless for a short amount of time and working, and eventually lost, I had to sell the boat, eventually had to sell the truck, and I was really done with fishing for a little while too, because of everything that was going on. So I didn't even want to do it anymore. It got that bad. And that gets us to the 2018, 2019. I start bouncing back big time in my personal life, and lost a lot of weight, got in shape, lost 100 pounds. YouTube never saw any of that, but life went on, and I was doing the damn thing. But I was working a lot, just trying to get back out of debt, and trying to get, just scratching and clawing. No ambition of getting back into fishing, didn't want to touch it. Matter of fact, there was a point before this where I had to sell some fishing tackle and rods and reels to pay bills, to pay off some debt. That was for real. That was real life. And 2019, really bouncing back. No ambition to come back to fishing. 2020 happened. Everything in the world fell apart. And my life changed as a result to what happened too, because of the work that I was doing in the film industry. I was just trying to start that new career in that industry. Working on like the basically the cruise where they're filming. I worked on Netflix stuff and all kind of movies and stuff, working on the crew, making good money. Didn't get to do a whole lot of that. 2020 and some personal things really shook that up. So in 2021, started a new career, got into trucking, got that whole thing going. And when I started finally making a come up in my personal career, financial life, that's when fishing really started coming back in my mind and my focus. But I had to formulate a plan. I didn't want to just get the bare money scrapped together to come back into fishing. Got to do it the right way at the right time. So this has been a multi-year journey, and that's real life, folks. Okay? Where trying to do it the right way at the right time, and, you know, sacrificing first in order to get the most out of it. That's the goal, at least. Okay? So, that's how it's been the last few years. Ever since 2021, I've been living in the truck, working like a dog, trying to come back and trying to do it at the right time, at the right place, for the right reasons, all that stuff. And that's led us here to 2025. And so it was that falling out, and then the subsequent coming back and coming up. But, you know, I'm not trying to just jump into a bunch of debt and just jumping back into basically similar problems that led me down the wrong path before. I'm trying to do it bigger, but more than anything, better than I did before, so that I'd never lose it again. That's reality, folks. So that's what happened. Obviously, I didn't get into much details. There's no point to. But I think that gives a pretty fair picture. When I say everything fell apart in my life, I went through so much stuff in that, like, it started in like that 2015 era. Once again, that 2017, 2018, 2019 period was a wild time for me. Wild time. Oh, man. That was a wild, wild time. And I've gone through a lot since then. I've actually changed a lot, too. I've grown up. I've grown up a lot. I've experienced a lot. You know, life has not been just, you know, slow going for me. I've really, really learned a lot and changed quite a bit. I mean, I really just kind of became the person that I was, but just woke it up, really. That's kind of how I feel about it. But I'm not the little, you know, back when I did YouTube in the past, I was really a grown boy. You know, I was in my mid-20s. No, back then I was in my early 20s. When everything fell apart, I was in my mid-20s. And the coming up phase, I was in my late 20s, and now in my early 30s. I'll be 32 or 33 in a few months. It's kind of crazy. I hit 30 and I don't even care about the number anymore. It's wild. But I feel young. It's all good. Like, it's not negativity in any way. I feel young. I literally feel like I'm still, maybe not 18. I'm not that invincible. But I still definitely feel like I'm young, like in my mid-20s at the very least. You know, there's certain ways where I'm definitely not as invincible. Like when you're really young, man, you can do any fucking thing, man. It's crazy. When you get a little older, you get a little burnt out. You get really wise and realistic. And sometimes the biggest thing is it's the willpower, because you got so much going on when you're older and you've been through so much. You know, your willpower isn't quite as strong as it used to be, man. But anyway, that's what happened, and it was a big deal. It wasn't just a little thing. I mean, I gave you some glimpses. That's some serious stuff. And there was addiction too. Addiction was another part of it. Really, I might post a video on that. I try not to talk about it. I went through a period of time where addiction and drugs was a thing. That was the falling out, really the bottom of the bottom. And that's real. That's real. I went through that. So, clean as can be. Well, I'm clean these days. You got to be clean to have a CDL, you know. So, I'm clean. No drugs. Some nicotine. Bad eating habits, but you know, we're going to clean that up in time too. We got to clean that back up again. See, I got journeys. I'm not a perfect person. Okay, that's why I hope maybe some of y'all resonate with this, because I think I'm probably talking to some pretty real people out here. I hope. I know there's a lot of idiots out there. There really is. The world is full of them. I'm not an idiot. I'm very smart, and I'm very reasonable, above average. I know that for sure. That's not being. I'm not a fool. I'm not an idiot, and I'm not the average person out here that just says some dumb stuff. So, or does. Well, I guess I can't say that, because I did some dumb stuff that helped me fall out too. but it was all part of, I committed, part of what got it, I knew in my early 20s that with my personal life, my family life, and my financial and my career life, a lack of a career life, that I needed to fully commit to trying to make fishing work in multiple different ways, whether it be tournaments or YouTube influencing. You got to remember, I did YouTube and influencing back way before your average pro fisherman was on YouTube. Okay, I was back on YouTube back in the Shane Dawson days when 1 million subscribers was the tip-top YouTube channels, okay? And, it was like a couple people that had it back then. I was back in the YouTube days when most people would never post any online content, a video. It was real taboo. It was real, wow, oh, you're a YouTuber? You do some YouTube? Wow, that's wild. I've heard of a few people doing that. That's wild. That was back when I was doing it. And I got some Google checks. Not much, just little help out with some fishing gear. But I made them back then, and that was back in that era. Now, it's different, These days, man, it's wild. You got so many people out here making some extra money, maybe even some good money, and they're just average people making really kind of lazy content on like TikTok or the different things. I'm not into those. YouTube is really my only playground. So, yeah, that's the deal. I think 12-minute video or something is really good for me. I'm pretty proud. So anyway, I think I'm going to keep it at that. That gives you a really good glimpse. Maybe we'll talk about some of these other things more in depth. But, yeah, I appreciate you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see. Because, I'm going to bring the camera along. I hope to bring the camera along for more of the journey. I had to go through monk mode and but God is telling me to share my experiences more. God, the Holy Spirit is telling me that it's time to come out of the monk mode hole that I had to go in, the isolation phase, to just kind of rebuild myself up. The Holy Spirit is kind of telling me to, even though I struggle with it, it doesn't seem like I'm doing any good on this YouTube stuff. Nobody wants to see this. Nobody cares, except for a few people, but that's it. And they're going to care anyway. It doesn't matter what I do or post, but, it's tough when you're starting new. But I'm not doing this to make big YouTube money. I have to keep it in my mind, why am I doing it? I'm not doing it to be YouTube famous. I'm just doing it to, at some point, share my journey as I come back in life and come back in fishing, and to show my new life that I'm working on building for myself. I've been working on building this new life for myself for some years now. And maybe there's some people out there that want to see it. And that's, and if that sounds like something for you, then maybe you're in the right spot, maybe. And I hope that I can deliver. But I also can't guarantee anything, because I'm a real average person, and there's no telling, okay? But the plan is the come up is going to be pretty cool. And I was planning on just doing it myself and not showing it the camera. There's so many things in life I didn't want to show the camera, but when the Holy Spirit speaks, sometimes you got to take action. So we here. I'm out. Say bye. Bye-bye.